Oh, it says an error occurred. And hello. I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with my new co-host, replacing the old guy that never shows up. Uh, not
I'm
meaning
an
that he's
older
old, not meaning old as an old
the
co-host.
previous owner.
The previous co-host, owner slash.
Yeah.
More often, Lisa is here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll have to rename Tank to
Less often, Tank.
Yeah, less often Tank. You know, it just makes him even more prized, right? Everybody just wants to hear what he has to say.
No. Well,
for all we know, we're funded and he's out playing.
I'm sure. That's it.
No,
he's already he's on a plane to Fiji. He wants to beat me there.
Yeah, it's so funny because I talked to him I talked about 2 hours ago, and it doesn't matter what's going on. That guy's always working, right? He's working feverishly on the website to get everything up and running and the voting finished, and just so much. He's working on website stuff, and he's been working around the clock, literally, without much sleep. Or
that excuse really doesn't work with me. Because because I'm working on website stuff and launching a blockchain.
Yeah, but you don't have voting that has to be completed by Sunday.
My deadlines are there. I have deadlines.
Yeah, I mean, people right now I'm looking at our website. We have 3 hours, 3 days, 6 hours, and 50 minutes to vote. So he has to make sure everything is in there so people can actually see what's up there.
I know you're just giving excuses for him, but it doesn't
It's
work.
okay. No, he's working a lot, and
Yes, I know,
yeah,
I know, I know. I'm just,
you know he is. You know, it's okay. You
but
can give him a hard time.
I'll
It's
give
all
him a
right.
hard time about it. So
So I don't have any like a major updates for anybody. There was Thomas was on tonight, so I did get some of that intel. So
Oh,
that
okay.
was
What is it? I
interesting.
did not hear Thomas.
Well, let me see. Let me find it. Actually, it's a great question, Dan.
I think it's pretty relevant. If Thomas is on and giving intel, it should be heard.
Yes, it
Should I
should
get a
be.
drum roll
Okay.
going here?
You do. I'm not a musically inclined person, so
Mm.
you might want to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not. I mean, it's. Hold on. I'm just trying to pull it up. I'm just not a really. For some reason, it's not coming up on my screen.
Hmm.
Well, Dan, I will find it in a bit. Do you have anything specific you want to talk about,
Specific. Well, I
or
did.
any news that's like breaking for you?
Well, I did go through, and what I'm really uh, been looking through is the WWG1 WGA love Telegram group, without the dot though. You know, if you want to search for it, it's
Mm-hmm.
just WWGA W. I got tongue tied. WWG1 WGA LOVE. So if you search on that in Telegram, you should be able to find the group. But in there, there's a very good, selection of stories that are all pretty relevant. I actually lined up, just one whole section I went through. So
Oh, no. Yeah, I just joined it because you sent me the link. I just joined, so that's good.
yeah,
Okay, good. I'll have to go through. There was 128 members and growing. It looks like so. I found the intel. All right,
good.
well done.
Yeah,
I had it up on my other computer, so I got to pull it up on this one. And there it is.
took that long to get the drum roll to load.
Okay, so this is interesting. Rumors are flying around that the UK in the UK that the Queen. So somebody typed this rather quickly, so there's maybe a few words out of place. So I'm just going to try to fix it as I go along. Rumors are flying around that in the UK that the Queen is abdicating in a few months' time. Under normal circumstances, this would be a good thing. Except those waiting in the wings are 1,000 times worse. Charles, William, Andrew, etc. They are trying to get her to sign off on keeping the old system. It's not going to happen. She is resisting all attempts, including those on her life by her own family. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
it's hard to say what's going to be happening with the Queen because In Pursuit of Truth was IPOT was going over this narwhal tusk event on the London Bridge. And I talked with my friend in England, all right, and he said, yeah, some kind of. He said it's a bit strange. He said, the reporting around it. Because they came out of an event in a building where these narwhal tusks were on the wall, kind of like ornamental, right? A narwhal is this like sea lion type creature with a very big unicorn type horn, but it's super long. It's 5 foot, 10 foot long. I don't know how big they get, but the ones that we're looking at seem to be like maybe 6 feet long, something like that.
Wow.
And they came. So the same people that wrestled this guy to the ground were the same people in the same meeting with him. This quote unquote, terrorist. That's how I and Pursuit of Truth repeats it so that it's not picked up by the bots, right? That are YouTube.
Oh, right.
Bots, right? So he says terrorist.
Oh, yeah. I never even thought of the word terror and terrorist.
Oh, there you go. Look what you just did. You just flagged the video. See, I'm just hiding the words by saying terrorist, and you go ahead and just say terrorist.
Right.
So
Yeah,
you
I'm
feed
just here
it.
to blow it for you,
So
Dan.
let's
I'm
start all
just
over. We'll just cancel this.
cancel the show and start a new one.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of canceling shows, so Tank and I did, I thought was a pretty good show yesterday. I mean, we did a bunch of, he did a bunch of announcements. We also did just a show when we talked about Samoa and launching the new thing. And it was about a half-hour show. Well, today they banned it, saying that we don't have the rights to, somebody had some claim on it. I'm like, well, who, what? It's just Tank and I talking, right? So they're just doing all kinds of stuff to keep us off the air. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
We'll
be sure to fight that one.
Right. It's just, it's not even relevant. I mean, we didn't, you know, it's just silly. All right, let me see if I can find it.
You had no theme music or anything?
Nothing. It's just Tank and I talking about news. Yeah, and vaccines and launching the lawful America and so forth. Okay, so the next paragraph. The Russian top brass have gotten tired of waiting for the false promises and do no longer believe in the Rothschilds RV, and their business is no longer welcome in Russia. Hopefully, they will take action as to the trillions of dollars stolen by the Rothschilds and the like in the early 1900s. I think we've kind of heard that info before.
Right. That was taken from.
I don't think that's very new. I don't think that's new.
Well, it's robbing the Russian Tsar, right? That's what it was all about. Same with the Shah of Iran, right? Not the Ayatollah, right? We're talking about the Shah, the king of Iran that was there, and long-time royal family there with a lot of wealth, right? And they topple the governments, and then they take over those assets.
Right.
Same with the Russian Tsar. They toppled him. The Bolshevik Revolution. Same type of tactics they're using in the U.S. right now. One of the things. Let me let's go back over to this page. I want to pull up which one. See which one it is. These are all from the WWG1 WGA Telegram group were posted there. So the Vortex it has several videos up there that were pretty good. This one is half of the priests and bishops are gay. That's 9 minutes.
Half of the bishops are gay?
Half of the priests and bishops are gay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we'll give a minute of this one.
You know what I want you should do? I want you should watch a series of interviews I had with you. Never even going to guess who it is. It's Michael Voris. Excuse the expression. I'm here with Michael Voris because I have such appreciation for a man who speaks the truth and is not afraid and loves our Lord as he does. So it's churchmilitant.com, and if you don't watch, I'm going to hit you with our rulers.
I'm going to do what?
I'm going to hit you with our rulers. Right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That reminds me of like Catholic.
Well,
Catholic.
but I want to finish watching this, but we won't go through the whole thing as I haven't watched these. I'm just going to give a kind of sampling of what's there. Here's another one that was posted. This is Understanding the Q Clock. This is 32 minutes. We're not going to watch that, but I'm just going to play a little bit of this. So the Q clock is basically a time clock that Q kind of follows. So if you want, basically one time on the clock here means also a time in the future that's coming up.
Two special friends, Matt in the Matrix and Bro Anon, to explain and break down the clock formation.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
That is understood.
There it is. Slide forward here a bit. That's the Q clock.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up here for you.
Okay, so you'll see that the 01 minute mark is 12:08, and it just continues to go around that clock. It's it was a pretty neat realization when this Codemaster Clockanon figured this out. He dropped a whole bunch of PDF files of this, and I downloaded them all, and we found out that was very hard to maintain because Q just kept posting over and over, and he'd have to add more and more dots to this clock. So he gives us a new clock once in a while to work with. But
Anyway, so that's the Q clock. We won't go
Interesting. Okay.
So, in other words, there's a way of if you look in the close in and then further out, it's distances in time. So Q posts will kind of link up for future events on the way it lands on the Q clock in the future. Right. So just going outwards for these points. So these dots. You said so that you just go out from the center and go out. 4 rings. You'll be going out by the time frames, right? Going out. So
interesting. So does it actually show a picture of what it would look like?
This is yeah. I'm showing it right now.
Oh, okay. I can't. I only see you on
Yeah.
Zoom, so I can't see what you're showing.
I'm sorry. I could be sharing my screen so you could see it. So let me do that.
It's okay. You got enough little things to go. I just didn't realize it was sharing because I'm
That's
looking
right.
at you on Zoom. So.
I'll share it so you can see. Just give it a minute. All right. So now you can see too.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Right. So you have each ring going out is basically showing a different time, and you can basically look at the different events and how they line up. So you can spin the dial, right, and see what's going to come out in the future. So anyway, so it's if you want to learn about that timing, again, it seems like AI is involved in this planning of this.
That's really interesting. It's funny that you say that because today we got an article posted. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, sorry, I muted myself. It was about the Guardian of Camelot had given a sword back to President Trump.
I saw that, yeah.
Oh, and it was predicted a year ago that it was going to be given to him. Isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. So that must be off that Q. I'm going to learn how to use that Q clock. I want to know what's going on, Dan, and when.
Yeah, it's pretty deep though, and as I said, it's hard to keep up with it because it keeps it's kind of it seems to be fairly accurate on the timing. So this next video I have up here is Trump and Satan. Again, this is the Vortex channel, so I've already subscribed.
The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Vortz. It's amazing when you look at how so many U.S. Catholic bishops are simply outshined by Protestant ministers when it comes to announcing truth. For the most part, the U.S. bishops have been essentially AWOL, for example, when it comes to abortion battles. A handful, maybe, show up at the annual March for Life in D.C., and that's about it. Rarely does the Bishops' Useless Conference issue any kind of statement on the ongoing slaughter. Heck, in 40 years, they've never even taken up a single solitary national collection for the pro-life cause. But they spin their wheels every year, grabbing millions for the social justice warrior pet causes, as we detailed in Friday's Vortex last week, as if abortion isn't the preeminent social justice issue of our day.
Okay, so the idea.
Good point.
Yeah,
you brought up a good point. Like, where are all the religious people and leaders? Why are they not standing up for particularly 40-week abortion, right? Or
Yeah. So our people there in our group, the Telegram group, WWGA, I got it, did it again. WWG1, WGA.love.
And it's no dot.
And no dot. That's the website. Please go ahead and subscribe.
Yeah.
So the website is good, but also participate in the group. And I find that now I'm not getting in my YouTube viewing list. What they're feeding me, right, is all Fox all the time, and it's repeated the same article over and over again from a different channel. So it's like now there's nothing on TV.
Right, they're manipulating everything.
Yeah. So this is a good way to find out good content, right? Is to have look at what's posted there. That's kind of what I want to do for the website. Is have that listed there.
That's a good idea.
there is a difference in Telegram channels and groups. This is probably
What is the difference? Because I have both.
right. So a broadcast channel, right, means you're going out. You're only speaking out. You're only giving out information. There's no chatting going on.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it.
Right. So that's what channels are for. So what's being posted there is much more suited for the channel because for a broadcast channel, because chatting, will if you start chatting in the same room, then you can't really. Oh, what happened there? You can't really.
It's too much to follow, right?
Yeah, you can't find the things that were already posted, right? Because there's too much chatter
In between, right?
Yeah.
It would take you all day to siphon through it, right? Well, that's good to know. Okay, I didn't know that. I do love. Excuse me. Past my bedtime. I've been up since 4. I do love Telegram a lot. It's very, very efficient. I find it.
Yeah.
Like you said, I need a few more things, more pins and some things.
It took the first 6 months to get Tank to move over.
I know. Well, about a month or so ago, I taught him how to pin the important. I mean, he's got 10 pages of groups, but on his phone, and on his Telegram. But I got him to pin the top ones that we use, which is 5.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like, he actually reads some messages now. Some of
Yeah.
the messages from some of our important threads, right? It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I set one up where it's just Tank's important stuff, where I just send him messages only, and there's no chit chatter, right? It's amazing how more efficient we are when it works. So.
Yeah. I made one group channel for I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. One group just to channel information. So when I'm collecting the information from other places, I send it all to this other group that I want people to see. And there's no chatter in there, right? No one talking, but the information all gathers there.
Yes, I have a show file. It's called Show Files. No talking. That's what the name of it is.
Yeah.
So I just drop when I find stuff all day long, and then our team, the core team, can also drop files in there, and it's really just for when we go live. We have all the updated news of the day, right? And no chatter allowed. So I find it amazing. I have a to-do list now. I have personal stuff. I got all kinds of stuff in there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, let's move on to the next one here. Another vortex one. This is homo communist clerical cesspool.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Vorse, reminding you to sign up for our daily Church Militant newsletter so you don't end up getting truthful information blocked by liberal social media giants. It's pretty clear right now that a good number of cardinals and archbishops in the United States hierarchy are more than a little shell-shocked from the fallout of the Uncle Ted McCarrick explosion. Just 2 weeks ago, the liberal plan to continue deconstructing the Catholic Church in America, by them, was humming along just fine, and then all of a sudden, the fallout from what are now hundreds of articles and stories exploding on an almost daily basis, not to mention the outrage being expressed by zillions of Catholics on social media, has finally brought the spotlight on the nefarious schemes of this notorious bunch. People are starting to connect dots that just 2 weeks ago they didn't even know existed. One of those dots is just how rampant homosexuality is in the priesthood, and not just confined to priests, like they would have you believe, the bishops, but bishops and cardinals, and how other cardinals and bishops have covered all of this up for decades. The lies, hypocrisy, blackmail, the filth, the abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, abuse of sacred authority by sick and twisted men, it's almost unbelievable.
I would say that they have a really good production quality in their videos.
Yeah. I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah, me either. Now this, I'll point out, it's from August 3rd, 2018. So I just checked because of the amount of time that's gone by. But it's a Church Militant is the name of the channel over You're right.
Well, and it's still relevant, I think.
Yeah. No. Oh. Definitely.
Integrity is always relevant,
Yeah.
or lack thereof, right?
Yeah.
In this case.
But
Um,
I know that I want to get to move here ahead a little bit. See where
SA member Bella Dodd selected to do the actual recruiting and placement of these homo-communist infiltrators. Dodd came clean on her part in the plot once she converted to Catholicism in the 1950s under Bishop Sheen. Once these agents worked their way into the system, and some of them advanced, they slowly began introducing little notions here and there meant to sow doubt in the minds of Catholics about church teaching. This was told to Church Militant by Dr. Alice von Hildebrand, who, along with her husband Dietrich von Hildebrand, became very good friends with Dodd, who told them all about the seminary plot. Little by little, these men became ordained and moved up the ladder, introducing various heretical ideas under the guise of new philosophies or theological approaches, but many of them were also practicing homosexuals who, once they reached a certain level, began recruiting other homosexuals into the seminaries as well. And not only were other homosexuals recruited, but good men were blocked from getting in or eventually getting ordained. A decided shift in how the church approached poverty, for example, was one of those ideas introduced. In centuries gone by, religious orders were jammed to the rafters with people who wanted to give their life's work to helping the poor or teaching them, or all of that kind of work, the corporal works of mercy. But suddenly, in the 1960s, at the same time the church's teaching was being replaced with revolutionary theological notions, a massive push in the area of so-called social justice exploded onto the scene, with many of the same professed goals as Marxist communism. Today, the so-called Catholic social justice movement is barely distinguishable, at least in principle, from the Communist Manifesto. Saul Alinsky found willing allies in some influential members of the Chicago Catholic clergy beginning after World War II, right about the same time the original homo-commie agents would have started coming into their own in positions of authority in the church. So for the next roughly 20 years, these men increased in stature and influence, as well as planned for and recruited the next generation of young seminarians.
Okay, so we get the idea. So this is interesting in just taking outside of, say, the Catholic Church, but also looking in government for the infiltration that was done.
I didn't even consider that for like, within the Catholic Church. I wouldn't even consider that they would block good men from joining. That's pretty incredible.
Well, if what we look at right now inside the actual government right now, what they're using is security clearances. So only if they have some dirt on you can you go up the ladder. And the worse the dirt is, the higher you can go. And that's so.
I didn't even. Wow, that's amazing to consider in the church, realm of things. I mean, I get it in politics, but I didn't even consider that they had to be compromised as well.
Well, there was a general from the Soviet Union that defected while Reagan was there. And I remember he came out, I forget his name, but he wrote some books. He did the tour circuit and talked to. He said that this was part of their plan to take over the West, was to literally infiltrate and move people up the ladder and then take over the upper echelons of the government. All right. So what do we see happening is, they're totally going to go for a socialist move inside hard socialism inside the Democrat Party and corporate socialism inside the Republican Party. Right. So two flavors of socialism, and so that's why the Republicans went along with it, because it's socialism for the large businesses. So it's kind of twisting the beliefs of capitalism, right? And then and by moving into the positions of power, they needed to have this mechanism of blackmail. So that's why they won't let anyone up the ladder unless they can blackmail you with more and more stuff. So the worse the blackmail, the higher you can go. So that's why the top of every run of the government, is going to be littered with these very, uh, you know, these very people that have done the worst things to get there. So
Right.
this is across
and
the
that's
world.
interesting. If this guy came out of the Reagan, you know, time frame or era, I mean, that was almost 40 years ago,
Yeah.
right? So that's incredible that this was thought of prior to that and began prior to that, which is amazing.
Well, I mean, the
40
idea
years.
of fighting communism and even the McCarthyism and all this kind of stuff was, what is it about? What was McCarthyism all about? It was about stopping the communists. Now, I heard it in school, when I was in high school, and I'm looking into it. And so, yeah, stop communism makes sense to me. But, to know that, the depths at which things actually, how it was rooted in sadism, that there was the purpose was world domination for the worship of Lucifer. This was
That's pretty harsh.
It's pretty
to think of.
harsh, that this is the whole world moving that direction, right? And so it was a battle. So was McCarthy wrong? I have to second guess what I was thinking about it, because was in high school, was in Los Angeles, right, near Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole idea of McCarthyism was that this was evil, right? Well,
Right.
wasn't really, because it was actually going after and finding the people who were trying to bring these communist ideas and slip the ideas into society, right? That's why we have kids that have gone through the school system and think socialism is great, right? And that's why they're restricted from having responsibilities, right? It's all about being with
Absolutely.
their parent, right? And they don't understand responsibility. So, well, these are the people that need to be voting and putting into place socialism. Yeah. And then
I remember my
afterward,
daughter
it's too late.
telling me a couple years ago, she was taking a socialism class at a major university. And, she said, Mom, she grew up as a Republican in Orange County, California, right? Which is like, they call it the Orange Curtain, because it was so Republican
Mm-hmm.
when she grew up and when I was growing up. But she said, Mom, after what they taught me in these classes, like if I didn't know better, I would be a Democratic socialist. Because that's how hard they drive it home when you're in college.
Right.
Like they really are driving it home. And if these kids have never been exposed to anything outside of that, that's all they know. And that's what they're teaching. I mean, it is an agenda in colleges, right?
It is. The whole aspect. That's why I brought this up the other day. When I was at Cal State Long Beach, with a master's in electrical engineering, I'm seeing free speech zones. I said, "What are you doing? Well, you can say anything you want over here. No, you can say anything you want everywhere. That's what free speech is, right? This is the opposite of free speech." Right, so but they instituted it, so you could see it just morphing, right, and so it was this slow little practices of going in and tweaking and putting in doubt and everything else. That's what the other gentleman Vortex was talking about. So that's very, very interesting. So I've got one more lined up here. This is son of Speaker Pelosi made money in the Ukraine. It's only 2 minutes.
Okay.
On the Biden family, the Pelosi's may be the next to come under scrutiny. An old promotional video resurfaced on Thursday, more than 6 years after it's uploaded by an energy company which does business in Ukraine. The video starts out with Nancy Pelosi speaking about her efforts in office to push for clean energy.
Breaking our crippling addiction to oil.
Her message is followed by a promotional statement from her son Paul, who is a board member of Visk Oil and an executive at its related company Energy Lab.
My name is Paul Pelosi. Of course, I'm on the board of Visco Oil. And Visco's here today to talk about accelerating the future. And that's what Visco Oil does. It uses technology to maximize the use of natural resources. like oil and other resources.
Just 2 years after this video was uploaded, Pelosi led a congressional delegation to Ukraine to discuss issues like energy security. And her son traveled to the country as recently as 2017 on behalf of the Corporate Governance Initiative, where he now serves as executive director. While the official reason given for his visit was to discuss a youth soccer partnership program with the Ukrainian government, clips of that trip are now reportedly being removed from online. One of those clips was saved by the American Mirror on Twitter with the caption, "What's really going on here?"
So you have a corporate governance business, and you're here in Ukraine speaking with representatives from the government, investment bankers, discussing certain things related to soccer.
Exactly.
This comes as Hunter Biden faces similar allegations that used his father's position to make lucrative business deals in Ukraine and China. Kara McKinney, One America News.
Want to see more?
Wow. Well, Dan, I can't say I'd be too disappointed if the Pelosi family was going to be investigated along with the Bidens. Like, I won't be too disappointed. You?
No, I think also we're going to see a few more. John Kerry's son.
Yes.
Mitt Romney's his executive aide or something like that.
Wow.
So
they're saying that on the Bidens, he got paid actually not just millions, but like a lot more than people are reporting, like tons of money on the Biden side. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure Pelosi's son is not far behind, if at all.
Sure. They're all,
Right?
I think they're all on the board of Burisma. They haven't said that yet, but I think that's what we're going to find out. They're all on the board of Burisma. It's not just Hunter Biden. It's going to be John Kerry's son, Nancy Pelosi's son, and Mitt Romney's aide. So
right,
that's what we're going to find. So this is
and more for all we know, right? And more people for all we know.
I mean, it's the whole purpose of why they do the foreign aid, and there's no accountability. It's just to fill their own pockets, right? They're sending the money out so they can collect it. They're just using family members to do it. So
they're saying they're doing it out of being good-hearted and want to help the poor and the countries that are hurting and starving.
Yeah.
When it's all just going back right into their pockets.
Yeah, they're such great people.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so here's another one of the articles that was in the group, the .love group.
Okay.
Like a short form.
The .love with no dot, right?
Yeah. I can't say the no dot group. The no dot love group.
The .love with no dot. Okay, got it.
All right, and if I say WWG1 WGALOVE, that's better. I don't know.
No, it's okay. I'm just giving you a hard time.
All right, okay. So listen, as the judge Judy refers to the family court as a dumping ground for morons and political hacks to be appointed as judges. Frightening.
Wow.
Here we go.
I really felt that the family court was a place that should be open to the press.
Yes.
Because at that time in New York, and probably in a lot of other places, it was sort of the dumping ground for morons and political hacks. People who had gone around and collected signatures for politicians to get on the ballot. They say, we owe them a favor.
Yeah.
And where are we going to put them? We can't put them in civil court or the Supreme Court because press goes in there to report. So we have to put them in a place where nobody can see the morons that we're appointing to the court.
Oh my God.
Because I worked in the family court as a lawyer. And it was frightening to see the mentality of people who were acting on the lives of families and children.
The judges.
So I thought it was a great idea to have cameras in the courtroom when I became a family court judge. And I
When you were a lawyer in front of these judges that you called morons, did you ever find yourself in contempt of court for such talk?
Well, I never called them a moron to their face.
I'm just doing it now because I'm rich and famous.
Yeah, something like. Well, that is interesting. All right. Well,
I never thought of that either. But you're right, because if the press is in the normal court, right, the civil court, or I guess they can just argue and act silly in family court.
Well, there was one more, but
okay.
it's really long, but and I have not listened to it. I'll just tell you what the name is. It's a quantum manifestation. Marina Jacobi, S2E25 control and shift in parallel timelines. So it's basically describing parallel timelines and quantum manifestation. So
yeah.
So
You'll have to
that's
send me that one. I'd like to get.
it's in the group.
Listen to that tomorrow.
It's in the group.
Okay,
WWGAW.
Yeah. Well, Dan, you could just send it to me and just make my life easier. I send you stuff.
I did. I sent you the link to
I'll look
join.
through it. I'm totally giving you a hard time.
Yeah, I give it
do you
right
want to hear
back
the rest of Tommy's stuff?
Sure, let's go for that. Yes.
Let's just listen to the rest of his, and then okay, I'm gonna get out of my Reagan stuff. Okay. The alliance, spoken of in the alt media, we hear they are fighting the cabal. This is pure lies and folly. The alliance is in reality has two opponents in the higher stakes game of chess. The alliance is the house of the Black Sun, mirrored after Hitler's Black Sun and Nazi Party. They are attempting a hostile takeover for free using the arms and legs. Hold on. They are attempting a hostile takeover for free using the arms and legs of the agencies worldwide. They also run the Order of the Assassins, or Order of Caliphate, or Muslim Brotherhood, or Langley 3. They are the enemy. They are chosen opponents of days old from the Marduk era. Neither one will achieve their objective. It is the old boogeyman and savior. They think they were created to be enemies. Stupid. Marduk's objective was for them to fight each other to keep planetary martial law in balance, and the ownership of souls was to be sent to the destroyer, a much more lethal force than the Draco. Only way to win the game is to not play. The Alliance is fighting against Rothschilds to install the Black Sun Empire. Then there are the Black Bankers, who have inserted themselves everywhere and work against the Rothschilds. The depopulation plan is for the Black Sun, although the Rothschilds have a plan of their own as well. The Black Sun is fighting for world domination.
I don't like either of their plans.
Yeah, I'm thinking, neither one of them need to be here any longer, or at least have any power or control over us or the banking system. It says, seems the clowns are on the same level in the alt media as several meetings have taken place with Kim, except they weren't really with Kim. Kim duplicates are trying to do deals. It's the CIA. Interesting, huh? Okay, a couple more. The Federal Reserve, despite being offered several deals, keep carrying on their stupidity. They try to cash in on emergency funding for the repo market. Then they realize there are no such funds exist. Why do they keep trying and keep getting the same result, which has failed? It is beyond rationale or normal understanding. All to stay in the illusion of control. They own nothing except illusion. Also, the Crown is gone, the Rothschilds are gone, the Fed is gone, the UN rendered ineffective, and so on. That has happened in the last 48 hours, and the panic has set in the banks. Well, that's interesting. So the Crown, the Rothschilds, the Fed, and the UN, all in the last 48 hours. I think Kim's a little busy painting.
Painting and painting.
And painting a ton, yeah. The predicted banking meltdown that was averted in August is now rearing its head rapidly. China which was forecasted in April, is now under the there's a blank line over under the gun big time. 3 banks have crashed. 1 is on its way. Losses of 1.7 trillion, the same as Australia's GDP. Japan's debt is 240% of its GDP. Whoa. United States, 430,000 jobs lost due to bankruptcies, despite record unemployment. Bankruptcies are the highest in a 7-month total since 2009. It's higher than the annual for bankruptcies since 2009. Evidently, the whole of the old system will collapse completely, and that will include all the families and the elites and their minions. It will get very ugly until they step down from their fake platforms, or people will rise up and speak to the only solution makers on the planet, which is the trust. Then it's going to get worse. Then don't turn up. Some of this I don't know. I didn't hear it myself. I'm just reading it. Then don't turn up with, we must stay in charge. You lost and will come to us as equals, or it will be your demise. And then Larry Page and Sergey Brin are stepping down from Alphabet Google. The heat has been turned up rapidly. So, what do you think of that, Dan?
I think it'll be funny if they're the only ones bankrupt in the end of this road.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Oh, their money's not going to matter, right?
What money?
Their fake money.
Yeah.
Their monopoly money.
Yeah.
You know, if Kim builds something, or I think she already has, builds something out of their current banking system, what if all their money just turned to monopoly money and was completely useless? What would they do?
Good question. I think that that's why we see them going on vacation.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
tells me they got their passport and a few family members with them.
Yeah.
Just a guess, though.
Yeah,
Just a wild guess.
Yeah, they want to take a little trip somewhere.
Well, I hope, like I said, that we could just have one island, send them all there, and they can stay as long as they want, or actually as long as until they're dead. So that's as long as they get to stay.
No, not as long as they want. No, and
no,
and they
and
can
beyond.
and before they go, they get vaccinated several times, extra booster shots, and make sure.
And let's put them on a GMO grid too, and put a ton of fluoride in their water. What do you think?
But all of those things that they love, they can have, except for children.
Right. No children allowed. Adults only. Right.
And then
all of their assets or anything they owned, property, all gets sold and given back to all the victims. What do you think?
And constant vaccination so they can't reproduce.
Yes. No children can be born. They all have to be, fixed, neutered, spayed, whatever you want to call them.
Well, I don't. I appreciate that idea, but are we then starting some kind of karmic?
No, we're stopping the karmic because they're not going to be able to reproduce children, so they can rape them, eat them, hunt them, and do those things. So we're just stopping children from being hurt.
Well, I guess it's the same point, whether or not to go ahead and remove their life, right, or remove their testicles. It's where do you draw that line?
First, you remove their testicles, then you torture them for 20 years.
Okay,
then
exactly
you remove their life. That's what I would say. That's just the order I would choose. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I had this idea when during the Iraq War, because it was, I said, stop that Saddam Hussein, right? I had this idea. Well, after they capture Saddam Hussein. It just reminded me of something. Sorry. A friend of mine who was a Republican congressman actually went into that hole that they dug him out of. He sat on the Armed Forces Committee. But anyway, when they took Saddam out of there, I thought a good way to because there's so much anger against him in Iraq, would be put him in a kind of a glass, or maybe not glass, but maybe an acrylic jail cell, right? Like circular one, and there'd be these long sticks, right, that would make it all the way into except like the inner 1 foot region, like a safe zone in the 1 foot circle in the middle of this big round circular tube. And so the people of Iraq could go up and grab these sticks, stick it through a hole, and poke him.
Kind of like the Q clock. He just stands in the middle, And
right, he has to stand in the middle and go like this, and try not to get poked too much, right? But,
Right.
So...
Just short of killing him. So they can stab him, Right, but not quite enough where they kill him. They just get to like poke at him and irritate him and bug him and not let him sleep. You know, all those things.
Yeah, maybe like a limit of 3 at a time or something from 3 different sides.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be good. They can't go. They can't go higher than an inch. Into his skin because then we don't want to kill him. We just want to, cause him some grief, some
Yeah.
pain.
Right.
Yeah.
The pain is coming. The Punisher.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
it's again, it was if you kill him, then then it's the people may not because of the tremendous torture that he put so many people through. I said, it's I wouldn't. So what's the problem with waterboarding? I don't know. You simulate drowning. You're not actually drowning. It's uncomfortable, and that's about it. So it was like the thought. So what about this one?
Yeah.
It doesn't do
I
this
like
one
your
instead.
idea better.
Yeah. So
I feel like waterboarding or death, it'd be too nice, to be
Yeah,
honest.
right.
I feel like it's just too nice for them. Imagine their karma that they have to deal with, the things they've done. I would think that it's time for people to start like switching sides for those that are even considering that this might be over for them. I would think that there's going to be some that are going to come out and say, "Look, I'm so sorry, I made a mistake." But I think most of them have such big egos and think they're above us that most of them won't. There'll be a few though. Be a few defectors.
Right. And I think that they're even just like Roger Bernard. He was in with the bankers and he was going through and he drew the line at killing a child. Right. So he that's where he broke and he wouldn't go any further. He changed around. Right. So. I mean, he has to deal with his own karma and the rest of that. But what about how about the people whose pension funds got depleted by the actions that he took, or the countries who had so many starving people because now they couldn't buy food. So there's still consequences for all those things, even though he's done a 180. And he's trying to do his best.
We're still feeling the effects, and you can't take that back. You can't give people back their life, their time, their money, their heartbreak, right?
So, yeah.
Once you can't give them that back. Yeah. So that's awful.
And this is because we have to be aware, we have to be looking at things critically. I even look at his 180, his turnaround. And be skeptical about it, because when I first heard it, I said this is a great that he's made that leap, and of course the karma. But the other thing that I noticed is when he went on the that board for the International Board of Natural Justice, right, where they're talking about the pedovores and all these things. He gave his story. But then to find out later that was organized by David Steele. They were that Thomas had brought up, right? And so is he now actually genuine, or this was part of a more elaborate plot? For them to basically find themselves a pathway out of the problem, right?
Good question.
To plan a route out. And so that they bring, he comes out a couple of years before this. He talks about what he's done because they know it's going to hit the news. And so and when it goes to like what is the pathway to direct all of this anger against them? Well, let's control that path, and Roger would be part of that. Now I don't know if that's true. Yeah. I'm not saying it is that way. It may be very genuine. And there may be a lot of genuine people on that path, but it was all their bent was about forgiveness and moving beyond, right? Well, great. Yeah. Forgive after a while they're being punished, right? And it's not up for all of us to forgive. As humanity, we can forgive. right? But for the people who actually were affected by the things that went on, it's up for them, to basically decide. You know, the reason we have like a jury of our peers, right, which has been replaced by, a jury of the people that weren't working that day,
Right.
They,
Right. That can't afford to be there, don't want to be there, or all kinds of other things going on.
yeah,
within that
so
system.
many different, but the system is corrupted, right? So they took it away from a jury of your peers. So what is your peers? What does that mean, right? It's your neighbors.
How do you define that, right?
It's the people around you, your neighbors. It's not meant to be, completely detached from you, your neighborhood. I mean, it should be the people literally, like in your same building or your same block, judging you based upon the evidence presented. Regardless of what the statutes say, they have ultimate authority, not the judge. But they flip it around and make sure that it seems like the judge is going to give you the rules, and this is how you're going to act, and this is how you're going to do as a juror. So they try and control the system so that as they want to mitigate the repercussions that come to them.
Yeah, I find that I have friends that have gone to fight tickets, they've been in traffic court, on up from there. They really do control what the jurors hear. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sometimes if somebody is and they're speaking about the Constitution or law, what's legal or lawful, I should say, they don't allow it to be said in their court.
I once started. How to say this? I was an evidence presenter. And this happened back in early 2000s, and I was basically I'd closed my one business down. It was in the technology, and I was kind of like freelancing around doing some other things, not exactly sure what I wanted. So an attorney friend of mine asked if I could help because he knew I had I had a 3D animation company, and he said, well, the other side in this real estate lawsuit was going to use an evidence presenter, and what that meant was that they were going to electronically show the information up on screens, right? And so he needed to counter them, right? So they were using PowerPoint to present things. So when my friend asked me to help, I said sure. So I looked into it, and I actually dug into it as like what's the best technology. I came up with a particular piece of software that allowed me to manage the viewing and things that were happening, right? And so I literally could have things, multiple things on the screen one time and draw lines on the fly, right? Well, in PowerPoint, it's a slideshow, forward, back. It's as good as the graphics you put together. You can't really manage things on the fly very easily. So, anyway, I was really, so this was a very big loss. I think it was over $2 million in legal fees were being spent. And there's 3 attorneys on their side and 3 attorneys on our side. We're defending the original seller of the property, right? It was an earthquake retrofitting, issue. The building got sold, but it didn't have earthquake retrofitting, which it didn't really require beyond what they already had done. But beyond the details, I sat in the middle.
Certainly a California thing.
No, definitely a California thing.
Yeah.
I sat in the middle, right, between 2 sides, 3 attorneys this side, 3, but I'm obviously on the defense side, and I was wiping them up. The stuff that I would throw up on the screen, right, was because of my presence of mind of understanding the case and stuff. I could put up things that weren't even thought of by the attorneys, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so all the time, the jury was being asked to leave. That's why I brought this up. Is the jury was being
Right.
asked to leave the room, and then they'd have a discussion, right? So I knew that there were some themes in this case, right? So in the themes, there was particular numbers that were like the goal, right? As a settlement, if the jury ruled against, it would be here, right, at this level.
Right.
Right? So whenever the jury would leave the room, I put up on the screen the numbers.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
So when they came back in, they'd see up on the screen.
Oh,
Right.
I lost my volume. Oh, say that. Okay, I lost like 5 seconds.
So I said I put back up on the screen what those numbers and things that were there, as though this was the main topic of what they were talking about. All right, so
Planting the seed, yes.
as planting the seed. So they kept restricting the jury instructions were very rigorous. The jury selection there was a whole science behind it on who they were restricting. I said this, and I said, this is not a jury of peers, right? These people have no concept of what the subject is about. I mean, for example, this is a trial about earthquake retrofitting. Every one of the jurors should be a contractor installing earthquake retrofitting, right?
Right.
They should be involved in that. They should be peers.
At least in that industry, the construction industry, right? To have some knowledge.
Yeah,
right?
to have the knowledge about what's being discussed, and even real estate, so that they have not people that were had nothing better to do.
A bank teller or a part-time student or somebody that just had no relevance to the case, right?
Yeah. So not only were they managed on who was being brought in, it's like how literally uneducated they were is what they were looking for. They didn't want people that had graduated college, right? They didn't. They had the whole list, so that they can sway the jury by who the jurors were. That is no way a jury of peers.
So how do we fix that system? Because when humans are involved, like you just said, they're swaying it. How do we fix that? That'd be a tough one.
I have the solution.
Let's hear it. We get robots. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Not exactly, but AI could play a part in it, but more along the lines of analyzing the peers, who are the people that should be there ruling on what has gone down. Who has the knowledge? Almost like the people that have a complete understanding of what the issue is. Right, so it makes it much easier, and then I'd limit the attorneys, right, to where the attorneys can't speak. Right, I'd have the attorneys be there to advise the people who are bringing the suits, and have the people who to stand up on their own and forget about all these rules and how you have to approach the branch and all the. Forget that. I said, listen, this is not about that. It's about getting to the justice of it. So if you have the people that are basically the one bringing the suit and the one that's defending, right? Mm-hmm. Those people talk in front of the jury. You could have the legal briefs prepared by the attorneys, but the attorneys don't speak. They don't stand up in place of the people. And basically bring it in the hands of the people that actually have the problems with one another, and then have the jury listen to them.
Right. I also think that the elites make so much money, but being a juror is not very. People are struggling just to eat now, right, and just to pay their bills, and they can't afford to be on a jury. It's particularly, I remember being a self-employed single mom, right? So how do you afford, they don't make it very advantageous for people to really go there with a clear mind and say, you know what, I'm getting paid my salary or whatever, I'm not losing anything, and I'm giving back to my country, and I'm helping, humanity by being a fair juror, right? And being like you said, assigned to the right case, a case that is you have some relevance or knowledge of. But they don't pay you. They don't. It's not worth it. People can't afford to be a juror, so they get all the people that, like you said, they don't have education, or they don't have jobs, or they're forced to be there, and they're asked. They want to leave because they know they're running out of. If their company does pay them, it's usually just for a few days, and it's over, and they can't afford to be there. So it's just not a good system all the way around.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, that's all I have. I don't know if you have anything else, Dan, but I think I'm good.
No, I think that's we covered quite a lot anyway. So
yeah, we did. We got some good videos there, and I'm going to go through your channel and pull out some of those. They sound pretty good. I do want to get more information about the timelines converging and so forth, parallel timelines. That's pretty interesting stuff to me. So.
Yeah, I have an interest in that as well. So, but so it would be good to try and build up this kind of. This is I forgot to talk with Tank about this. But on the Wix development platform for websites, they've instituted a way to have unlimited bandwidth and storage for videos.
Oh.
So literally could broadcast these out and then put them up on there. Right, I could do a live presentation, or if you needed things like that, or record it and then upload it, and put it right on the website. And since they're the ones that are hosting, right, and the plan is relatively inexpensive for doing this. I mean, it's you add in an extra, I don't even know what it is, like $50 or something like that for a year, to get to this higher level plan beyond this. So. Relatively inexpensive for those websites, and they have massive infrastructure. So
wow, that's pretty good stuff.
Not only that,
so that would be in lieu of, or in addition to, like YouTube. So if they did take down a YouTube channel, you could have all your videos stored on this website.
Yes.
And if you said it's unlimited, then we should start. What's the name of it?
Well, Wix.
Wix. So WIX.
Yeah, WIX. Yeah. And that's
okay.
And Tank knows about Wix, so it's just a matter that this is something that they've moved towards. It's something that's new. I just noticed it now because the other websites I'm working on for this other new project, which is coming along on that front. The programmers are programming, right? So hopefully and. Just after Christmas, probably be ready to test something, and but then that's what I noticed is that they had this extra functionality that was there.
Good. I don't know if Tank probably doesn't know about that part of it yet, right?
Probably no, I didn't. That's what I have.
Okay, I'll bring that up in our morning meeting because I think it's important. I know that we're looking for alternatives, and I know that I think you've heard as well that in 5 days from now they're going to start deleting a bunch of YouTube channels. So.
Yes.
It'd be a good alternative.
Well, this is why, and I appreciate everyone who's helped in downloading all the videos off of my channel. So they're all downloaded now, except maybe today's or the last couple of days. But
yeah, we have volunteers doing that. We have we have the hardest working team behind the scenes. It's amazing how hard they work and
it is
what they're doing right now. It's Michelle and Tank are working 20 hours a day and. The rest of the team, they're helping so much. It's incredible how much work. I'm amazed by them every day. Like, I'm in awe of them. I just can't even imagine, the sacrifices that we're all making to do what we do. So, just want to give them a high five, so to speak. So anyway, good, Dan. Well, I'm thinking Tank will be back tomorrow. Hopefully some great breaking news and that good stuff. If not, you're stuck with me.
Oh no.
Oh no. Awful. Lisa's coming back. Tank we better have some serious revelation then tomorrow. I'll have to send a special note to Kim. Kim, Tank, Dan doesn't want me back. You need to fund tomorrow.
If that's what it takes.
If that's whatever it takes, right, Dan?
Yeah, whatever it takes, yeah.
Well, thanks for those videos. That was good. I'm on your channel now, so I'm going to go through some of those and hopefully and then those of you who don't know our new channel, It is. Dan, what's the name of our channel that we just released?
I don't know which channel you're referring to, actually.
The one that we're voting on.
Is it Lawful America?
Oh, yes. Okay, that's it. I had a brain fade. LawfulAmerica.com. We have, they're loading up the information. A lot of it's already there. They're still loading up more. And you have 3 days and 6 hours to vote. So go to LawfulAmerica.com and invite anybody who wants to take back, the Constitution and live by that and reverse all the things that they've done outside of that. So I would ask anyone to go there, do your voting, and share it with as many people as you can.
I want to ask you something about Living with Lisa.
Okay.
Is it a comedy? A sitcom?
No, but sometimes it is. If you could hear Tank and I on before we do our calls or after, the things we say, it's pretty. It is a comedy sometimes. It really is. Today, I think it was today or yesterday. Tank have you seen his screen? Oh my gosh, it must have fallen down 100 times. I said, and he had this. He said it sounded like I said, Tank. It sounds like you're either cleaning out your basement or moving dead bodies. He said both. So it's comedic, the things that he says. I wish I had a blooper roll of just the things that he says, because it's pretty hysterical. So sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's health related, and sometimes we're just pretty silly because we're so tired and goofy. Yes. So yeah, it's all of the above.
All right. Well, yeah, because every time I see your Living with Lisa logo there, I'm just thinking, it sounds like a sitcom.
Have you ever seen the intro? It's actually an intro.
I don't think I've seen the intro.
I'll send it to you in Telegram. It's like a 10-minute thing or 10-second thing or 25-second thing that Tink created. So when I do my own channel stuff, that's what I play, the intro. So I'll send it to you so you can see it, and now you know what it really means.
Oh, you know what I just noticed? Is it a magnifying glass?
Yes.
I didn't notice that until just now. I didn't see the thing at the bottom. I just see the circle.
Yes.
Just faded
and
out.
Next time I come on, I load up our intro and I'll play it on our thing. But I'll send it to you in the meantime.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks, Dan. Have a good day. I know it's daytime. Your morning, your time, right? What time is it there? Is it 11?
No. It's a 2:40 p.m.
Oh, okay. All right. 2:40. Yeah, you're right.
16 hours ahead or something like that of you.
Okay, yeah. All right. I'm
maybe 17 hours. I don't know.
Well, and I'm in Pacific Standard Time. I just place everything on Easter because that's where Tank is. So it's crazy. We're 3 different time zones. So. All right. Well, have a good rest of your afternoon, evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks, Dan. Good night.